What a concept, having a guy net front and actually making it tough for the goalie on the power play and the defenders, and then getting a shot through into a wide open top of the net. Great shot by Berard, picking his spot, taking a quick second. Just a great power play. All started off of that face-off in the neutral zone. A great hustle by Kravstov. Props to him to get down in and win that the race to that puck, set it up to Kudryavtsev, right over to Berard, right into their setup, right? Like you see Berard on the one side, so the soft side, you got Kudryavtsev up high. Kravstov's going to play PD spot on the wall, and then you have two guys net front. You have one bumping up a little bit to pull one defender away, and then you have the other guy who's just an absolute menace in front of the net, making it difficult for Copley and the other defender to kind of box that out. So you have a wide open shot, like textbook stuff. So, that's the kind of stuff you hope to see from a power play. Not a bunch of guys that are afraid to shoot because they have to pass it to Quinn first.
Yeah. So right before I bring on Dustin, Major General donating a gift or membership. And that one went out to, let's see here if we can bring this up. Oh, it's not set up properly. Give me 1 second, guys. Here, let's fix that. There it is. Okay, perfect. Now you guys can see it. All right, so it went out to Lucas Wright. So Lucas Wright getting the free gift of membership courtesy of Mr. Major General. Thank you very much, Major, for the donation, and congratulations to Lucas. Yeah, like I was saying, that was a good looking, or like you were saying, that was a good looking power play. They're actually Kravstov, like you said, they didn't even win the faceoff on that one, but with Ontario only having the one defenseman out there, puck goes onto the far side boards, and Kravstov hustles down and picks it up to start the whole thing off.
Yeah, no, it was great stuff. You like to see that hustle. You have to win board battles. If you're going to lose a faceoff, you have to win races to the puck. That's a hustle we didn't see in the preseason out of Kravstov. And we did hear rumblings of him maybe wanting to go back to the KHL, and those have kind of quieted down. This is something maybe to speak again about the coaching style of Manny Malhotra and getting the most out of these young players. And you can see the energy level that this team brings. There was some sloppy play in the defensive end early in the game, but they started to tighten it up about halfway through, and then really put the pressure on for the last 10 minutes of that period. Was pretty much all Abby, and then that led to drawing a penalty after a good penalty kill, and that then swung their momentum and into getting a power play goal late in the period, and they find themselves tied going into the intermission instead of down one. So a great job by the guys there. Some really good stuff also on the penalty kill. Chase Wouters, a huge block. That's why he's the captain of this team. He's always there to put himself on the line. And the chat's making me giggle.
Katie's a lucky lady, apparently.
Well, yeah, and the Marlboro comment, I've been recovering from a cold, and it does sound like I've been smoking like a carton a day. So it's been a rough 2 weeks almost with this cold. I've been fighting it. So I've been fighting through it for you boys to be here, even with the illness. It's the NHL, right? You play sick, you play hurt. So we're here, and happy to see what the product that Abby's putting out right now. Obviously, some brand new bodies added within the last 24 hours. Haven't really had a chance to skate with the team. Durando looks quite like a good addition. Only 3 official centermen in this game. So Josh Bloom was listed as the 4th line center, I believe, to start, but they kind of have Durando playing a bit of center as well, seeing if he's capable of that. So the center woes aren't just with the big Canucks. They go all the way down the organization, and so that's where it's like, yeah, some teams are looking for centers, but they might be able to look within their org. The Canucks can't look within their org, so Jujar Kara comes in and he's going to be doing some heavy lifting right away. You can see him taking some short shifts because he's doesn't look like he is in game shape yet, but does look like he's in shape. He did have plans to go overseas, but then those didn't end up happening, and he was he's still in Vancouver. So Ryan Johnson reached out with a depleted lineup and asked if he wanted to come and help the team out, and good on him for being there. I like that line with him and Ulrichsen out there. Man, they look like a couple of twin towers. It's so cool to see those two. They're massive, right? And so if Ulrichsen can learn how to use his physicality a little more from Kara, I think he has more skill on the offensive side than Kara does. But learning that physicality and how to use your body to get positioning and win puck battles will be hugely beneficial for Ulrichsen with Kara on his line. So actually, side benefit that they will get from bringing Kara back is I think he'll be a huge role model for Vilmer Ulrichsen and a couple of those bigger boys like Jackson Coons as well.
Yeah, Jackson Coons getting into his first game. Didn't notice him a whole lot tonight, but obviously probably getting a little bit more limited minutes out there as it is his first game with the Abbotsford Canucks this year. Did you see any downs out there? Like, was there? I mean, the start was a bit of a down. But other than that, there wasn't a whole lot that I was too upset about with the Abbotsford Canucks so far.
No, it looked like just a little sloppy start, maybe caught up in the ceremony of the banner raising and things, not quite focused on hockey right at puck drop. Give up that breakaway, and then it just kind of got broken. No one really knew who to pick up after Tolopilo made the first save. And then Andre Lee gets the rebound there past Tolopilo. Little close call in the end there when Tolopilo played it at the corner. A little bit of misplay with the puck, but no harm, no foul. Didn't end up in the back of the net. So I wouldn't say huge down. I mean, one down is probably Ravinskis can't be taking offensive zone penalties, right? When you're on the forecheck. It was a bit of a soft call, but he did put his stick in the back of the opposing player. So, 9 times out of 10 in this modern era of hockey, that's going to get called. You just can't put yourself in that position. So you need to get tighter to the player and go for the pin on the boards rather than trying to go for the shove and create separation. In that moment, it would have been more beneficial for Ravinskis to kind of go in with the shoulder, play a little more physical, and try and bump him off the puck rather than shove him off the puck. I get what he was trying to do, but just in the choice of the matter, you don't want to put yourself in the situation where you could get that penalty call. If you go for the physical play, more often than not, you're not going to get called for a penalty because you're going to keep your elbows down and everything because you're more focused on the puck and you're just trying to separate the player from the puck. You're not trying to blow him up or wipe him out of the game, but it's just a safer play in the sense of keeping the offensive flow going that you guys were just starting to build.
Yeah. Well, let's have a quick trip down Calder Cup memory lane with the biggest up of the night being the banner going into the rafters and that beautiful banner behind you too. And as well, I did my own banner raising ceremony in the studio here. What was your like favorite moment from the Calder Cup run last year?
I think it's like a encompassing thing that just the way the Abbey Canucks had to go through an extra round versus every team that they faced from then on. And also the elimination games that they were up against a couple times and just dug deep. The way they came together as a team, and there were constantly guys shuffling in and out of the lineup, and just that whole moment of the playoffs from start to finish. Like, I know it's not just one like quick moment, but it was everything, right? Something just felt special from that first series on, and it just felt like they were going to go on this run. And it really just started around January, I guess, for me. When I was watching, so there is a moment. There was one game in January that I watched, and it was when Malholtra's system really started to click, and Baines, Sasson, and Carlson started playing together. and everything just kind of started to flow in the right direction. And then went on this 9-game winning streak after that game. And then shortly after, they had a 12-game winning streak. And it was just like, it was that moment when you saw it click that it was like, oh, this is going to be a special season. And then sure enough, they had the AHL equivalent of what the St. Louis Blues did the year they won the Stanley Cup.
News for the big boy Canucks today. They have made a trade and they've picked up Lucas Reichel from the Chicago Blackhawks for a 4th round pick in 2027, I think it was. What did you hear about Mr. Lucas Reichel as a player?
Well, when I looked into it, he's a point per game player at the AHL level, and ultimately kind of got buried in minutes behind Bedard. As soon as they drafted Bedard, his kind of his development almost got put aside, and it's almost like a JT Miller situation in Tampa Bay when he was stuck behind Steven Stamkos and the other centerman that was there ahead of him is slipping my mind right now because it was a few years ago. But JT Miller, no one knew that he had the ability that he had when we brought him over. Everyone was like, "Oh, why are we picking up this 3rd-line center?" But when you read the scouting about this kid, you hear I sent you one earlier about him being an unrelenting forechecker and back checker, never gives up on a play and wins battles through second efforts. He's a pretty capable puck handler too, even at top speed, carrying the puck through defenders' triangle, showing predilection for outside in maneuvers. So he likes to get to the middle, which is one of the things that really stuck out to me. Is he likes to drive the middle of the ice, and he uses his weight transfers to avoid contact. So he's good at avoiding checks. So it sounds like he has a much better hockey sense, a motor kind of like a Höglander, with higher offensive upside. He is a left winger, sort of. I believe I heard you in the pregame mention that he was drafted as a centerman.
Yeah.
So maybe there is a hope for him to play center, but also the Canucks do have a shortage of left-handed shooters in their top 6. They've been cycling through, wondering who they can, try and find a good fit on that left wing for Pettersson, and Garland is now on the right wing. So maybe this left-handed shot coming in is going to help out with that. But then what does that do with like the DeBrusk and Kane? Like, does that permanently push Kane down to a 3rd-line role, which I'd be happy with. I'd be very happy with.
Me too.
But obviously, I think this young man just needed a change of scenery. He had requested a trade. He wasn't getting the time on the ice that he felt, or the opportunities he felt like were going to put him in a position to succeed. And so I really like the pickup after I looked into him a little more. I think it's definitely something we need. The downside is it signals to me maybe a little bit that we're eventually going to get some pretty terrible news about Filip Chytil. This is a trade that could have been made, a month ago or 2 months ago. And they made it now after everything around Chytil's kind of been very quiet. The only thing anyone's really heard is that he had some bad days after the game when he got home, and that he is just, away from the organization. And I'm sure that friends, family, I mean, if he was my son and I'd seen him go through those many concussions, I'd start to talk to him about his future and if he wants to be there for his kids, or, what does he want his life to be? Because at the end of the day, playing in the NHL is a job, and it's not worth your life. And so for Filip Chytil, he really needs, if this is a bad concussion again, he really needs to take a step and think about himself. And no one at all would fault him for that. So excited to see what Reichel can bring, and we'll see if he's in the lineup. Hopefully he's in the lineup tomorrow night. Obviously our top 6 is really hurting for some scoring and speed, and he seems to bring all of the things that we kind of talk about as like a primo line mate for one Elias Pettersson. So kind of the offensive makeup sounds like of a Kuzmenko with more defensive awareness. So I'm excited to see what we have here.
Cool. Speaking of injuries, Blueger is now officially being placed on IR, as per Patrick Alvine meeting today with the media. That means he is week to week, so you can expect him to be at least out for another week or 2 weeks. So, and apparently it is a new injury. So that might be also where this trade suddenly happens, because Heedle's not going to be anytime soon. And if Blueger's out for a while, then maybe they do try this Lucas Reichel kid at center. And apparently if he gets here today, he will be in lineup tomorrow, which is wild, but it is what it is, right?
Yep. And yeah, I mean, they got to do what they got to do right now. And I wouldn't expect them to be done either. Like, this is just trade number one of probably other trades to happen.
Quickly, the last thing I wanted to bring up here is quite hilarious. I was on Reddit. As you guys know, I do love my Reddit. And I saw this post here, and it's food for thought on Clayton Keller, who did spend time under Rick Tocchet. And so if you look at the years that he was with Rick Tocchet, you can see he had 65 points and 47 points. So he actually went down. And then he went down even further as the years went on with Rick Tocchet. And as soon as Rick Tocchet left, his totals have gone up, 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 up. So I was like, is this you, Dustin? Like, are you posting this? Because this feels a lot like what's happening with Petey right now. So is it going to take a couple years for Petey to shake off the shadow of Rick Tocchet?
I hope not. I hope he can shake it off quicker than Keller did. But it also depends on who you bring in afterwards. And if you bring in Rick Tocchet 2.0 or Teemu Tocchet, as some people have deemed him, you're going to get the same play style, and you're not going to see the improvement that you are hoping and wishing to see. At this point, the organization is shooting themselves in the foot when it comes to Pettersson. They need to do a better job of surrounding him and putting him in the position to succeed along with the rest of the team. Same with Quinn, right? Like right now, Quinn Hughes is trying to do too much on his own. He needs to be reeled in a little bit. They need to pull that leash back. And, it all comes down to coaching right now. You look at the lineup on paper and they have the pieces to put a good NHL lineup out there, but, 3 defensemen out there on a 6-on-5, 3 wingers out there at one point when you're down a goal in the third period. Like, none of it makes sense.
No.
And those are choices. They're not just like trying tactics. It's just, I don't know how to explain it, but this is what happens when you try to learn a job on the fly at the highest level. You just fall behind way faster than you expect to, and it becomes very apparent and glaringly obvious that you are not equipped for the job, and that unfortunately is starting to happen with Adam Foote. Like I said, I'm giving him his 15 to 20 games, but the trends are alarming.
Dustin, thank you very much for joining us for this first intermission Rusty and Dusty Sideshow, and we'll see you again in the postgame, my dude.
Absolutely. Enjoy the game.
Nothing is perfect.